We should be good to go.
Okay, here we are, Monday, May 23rd. We are at our regular school board meeting tonight at 7:30. We are doing a virtual meeting on my behalf because I'm observing COVID protocols right now, but everybody else is in the room in room 404 there in the school building. So everything is being broadcasted. The agenda is on our website. And with that, Dr. Swab, everything is yours.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call to order the Bradford Village Board of Education May 23rd meeting and we stand for the pledge. A roll call, please.
Dr. Swab.
Here.
Mrs. Brewer.
Here.
Pastor Reindl.
Here.
Mr. Biesecker.
Here.
Mr. Manuel.
Here. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. And a first item for discussion is a recommendation to return to virtual open meetings as it originally authorized under House Bill 197 on March 25th of 2020, which provides emergency relief related to Opening Meeting Act. Notwithstanding existing policy to the contrary, it shall be the policy of this board to conduct this meeting in accordance with AM sub House Bill 197, which expired July 1st, 2021. House Bill 51 reauthorizes the virtual board meetings as previously stated above, and the Board of Education recommends that the use of virtual meetings until the expiration of this authorization on June 30th, 2022. Do I have a motion to accept that recommendation?
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
The next item is a recommendation for waiving the first and second reading of annual policy 0167.
So moved.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? If not, roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
The next item is recommending a temporary suspension of policy 0167 voting. Paragraph 4, board member must be physically present at the meeting to vote until June 30th, 2022. The intent of this suspension is to allow voting by a virtual platform in accordance with House Bill 51. Do I have a motion to accept?
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
Next item before us is the reviewing and approving of the remainder of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the printed agenda? The only thing to note is we don't have an executive session, which was listed at the end. We'll have that this evening.
I move to approve item A and B.
A second.
Second.
Roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
Next item is approving the minutes from April 19th, 2022 and May 2nd, 2022. A motion to approve the minutes we had before us.
So move. Second.
Any discussion or additions? Hearing none, roll call for approval, please.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
Next item is we would like to turn it over for the student and staff spotlight to the administrative team.
So we're going to start off with Students Month. For this in May, we always like to honor our graduating seniors, and our student spotlights this month reflect that. So our first student of the month is Jenna Shellbarger. Jenna Shellbarger is the 2022 Bradford High School salutatorian. Jenna is the daughter of Ryan and Carmen Shellbarger and Lori Shellbarger. Jenna has been a scholar athlete in cross country for 3 years and powerlifting for 4 years. She has also been involved in Spanish Club and National Honor Society while maintaining a 3.95 GPA. After high school, she plans to attend OSU lineman. So congratulations, Jenna, on your high school accomplishments. And then our valedictorian for the 2022 school year is Riley Cannon. Riley is the daughter of Casey and Kim Cannon. She's been a scholar athlete in volleyball, basketball, and softball all 4 years. She's also been in Spanish Club for 3 years and National Honor Society for 2 years. She's currently the current secretary of her class and has been part of her church youth group these past 2 years and has gone on 2 mission trips, all while maintaining a 3.96 GPA. After graduation, Riley plans on attending Indiana University East. So congratulations, Riley, on all your high school achievements. And those are our student spotlights for May 2022.
Okay. Do we have to push on that?
Yeah, I'll push.
Okay.
You talk, I'll push.
We have a lot to share this time around because there's been so much jam packed here at the end of the school year that it's going to be a lot of fun pictures to see because in the small amount of time from the last time we saw you, there's been a lot of things that have taken place. These are the elementary students of the week for this past month that we've had. And we stopped it a little bit early because it got so crazy here near the end of the school year. And here's Grandparents' Day. It was probably one of the biggest turnouts we've ever had for Grandparents' Day. It was the theme of May the 4th be with you. We had some of the student council members dress up like Obi-Wan Kenobi. We had stormtroopers, and the amount of grandparents that showed up was amazing. It was a good turnout. We had a lot of good times with everybody here. And as you can see, they even had some artwork of Star Wars as well for that time. Mr. Biesecker helped with sharing some of his Star Wars memorabilia. K through 3 got to go to the Hug the Earth Festival. It was over in Troy this year. And so we have where the earth ball would roll over them. They got to learn about they learned about animals. They got to do some rock digs. It was just a fun time for all of them. The weather cooperated. It was nice to be back outside doing these fun activities that the Miami County Park District offers grants for, and we received a grant for it. So thank you to them. We also had the Dark County Teacher of the Year luncheon, where Mrs. Sebring was chosen by her colleagues. It was a great time. It was at the Turtle Creek Golf Course. She definitely deserved it. She sure does keep our MTSS process going and getting those tier 3 interventions for all the students. Our Railroad Readers Club went to the bowling alley in Versailles, so they got to go, if they earned so many points for AR or they read a specific amount of books for K through 1, they got to go bowl, have pizza. It was sponsored by the PTO. They had a really good time and got to go out on a school day to do it instead of a weekend. They also had a walking field trip to the library where they got to go and talk about this upcoming summer library program. They're making jellyfish. So if you go in there, the first grade made jellyfish. They're hanging from the ceilings at the library. So to get them excited about the reading program, they got some fun activities the kids are going to get to do this summer. Then there was a summer reading club kickoff. That was in the evening when teachers go up there. Mr. Doddery and I went up there. There was some calypso music playing. They got to bang on drums. They got to pretend they were in a little canoe with plungers and go up and down. There was cone of ice, and we had a pretty good turnout for that, I thought, and it was a lot of fun. I was sore the next day. We had Special Olympics as well, and it was just not elementary students. It was K through 12 students that got to go out and participate at Greenville. Another great day was had for the kids because the weather cooperated. They had a great time, and they represented Bradford well in the Special Olympics. Field day was Friday, and there were a lot of races, right? What's so exciting is this may be the last year we've actually have to go up to this field and have a field day where we're running on the cinder track still and the grass. So it was fun to hear Mrs. Burgett say, hey, this is maybe the last year we have to do it this way, and you'll actually know what a track meet's like when we get our new track. So the kids did a great job. They were excited. They just weren't used to running a full lap, some of them. Today they had the second grade market day. They all had to make something, and they had tickets, so they could earn tickets throughout the time, and then they learned how an economic system works. So some students, like this young lady here, had made cupcakes, and she was selling for 5 tickets. Sometimes they were a little bit giving. They were giving a lot of things away to the teachers, free massages to teachers that walked into the room. And then they have fingernail painting. It was just a fun time for the kids.
So transitioning over to high school, we have our prom court. Prom court included Keaton Mead, Olivia Machalke, Nolan Case, Abby Fike, Lexi Barhorse, TJ Brewer, Nalini Byrise, Devin Crane, Aussie Miller, and Nick Weldy. And then our 2022 prom king and queen were Nick Weldy and Austin Miller. The theme for prom was 007 James Bond, so that's where the 007 comes from. Special congratulations to Keaton Mead, who was honored for 20 under 20. I think this is the 3rd year we've had a kid in 20 under 20 in a row. So he received a Tool Scholarship. There will also be a banner that will hang out in front of, I think they're going to put it in front of the village building on the flag post to honor his accomplishments. So congratulations, Keaton, on that. That's a big honor. And we're proud as Bradford Railroaders to have you represent us. And then we had our FFA State Convention. A lot of exciting things here. Molly Clark received her state chapter degree. Daphne Levy was able to play in the state band. And then Molly also won a state award, or placed first in state award for swine entrepreneurship. I think I got that right.
You did. Swine entrepreneurship proficiency.
Sponsored an ag day with the elementary kids, in which they had a bunch of different stations. They had some games that they played. They brought up some animals. I think that was one of the most popular things with some of the kids, just going out there, and they were able to see good. They also had a tractor. I was almost afraid to ask how much that tractor actually cost, but it was kind of cool for the kids to see all the big farm equipment that they had out there.
It was weird. It looked like a car, and the sides would come up on it. It had like fiberglass on the outsides of it. It was pretty nifty looking.
So upcoming events, we are in the final run of the school year. Tomorrow is the last day of school. So exams were today and tomorrow. I know a lot of teachers try to get their exams out of the way today, because with the girls playing tomorrow, we fear that these kids wouldn't be able to do it. We also offered an opportunity that if the kids couldn't get their exams made up, they can come in on Wednesday. Since the teachers will be in the building on Wednesday, I'm pretty sure none of the kids took the teachers up on that offer, but that was an option. Last day of school is tomorrow. We have kindergarten graduation. We also have a 2-hour early release. Athletic boosters meeting on Wednesday at 7. UVC convocation is the 26th, which is Thursday at Hobart Arena at 7 o'clock. Graduation practice for our seniors is going to be May 27th at 10 o'clock. And then we have graduation on Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon. And the PTO meeting is scheduled for June 1st at 6 o'clock. So for athletics, start off on a sad note. Our boys lost today against Fort Laramie in the sectional tournament. Tomorrow, our softball girls are playing Mechanicsburg at Northmont at 2 p.m. For a regional game. And while we're talking about the girls, congratulations to the high school softball team. First ever WOAC championships within the conference. They were the first team to win a softball ship, so congratulations for those girls. And then we had our district meet on Friday. Owen Beechler had a really good day of districts. He placed 4th in the 300-meter hurdles and placed 7th in high jump. And Hayden Nicodemus placed 8th. So Owen will be running at Troy on Wednesday in the 300-meter hurdles. I looked at the times. It was like a split second between 2nd and 5th place. So it was a close race. Owen ran hard. We're hoping he can do it again. The running events start at 6. There's really no timetable as to when he's running. The 300 meters is one of the last races. So I'd probably say maybe 7:30, depending on how quickly they run. And depending on whether or not the rain that caused the girls to move their game comes in and they have to postpone the meeting for a little bit. So we're hoping that he will make it to regional finals. And if he makes it to the finals, I think the finals are on Friday night. And then last week, we kind of announced that there's this new student leadership council, and they chose as their teacher of the year, Mr. DeLoma. So congratulations, Mr. DeLoma, for your dedication and positive attitudes towards Bradford High School academics. And that's all we have.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions for the administrator team? Thanks. Next, Mrs. Brewer, do you have anything from the Upper Valleys?
Just
Career
to
Center?
reiterate Thursday's convocation. I have the meeting right now.
Too many meetings.
Next on our agenda is
I assume that was me. I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of updates here. I've been out of the building for a while, and I think our administrators have shared most everything that we're talking about here. We did meet again with the WDC group, our architects on the track project. We finalized a lot of the whereabouts of where everything is going to be with the track and jump pits and bleachers and those type of things. So we're working through a few minute details yet. We will meet again with them on Thursday this week, and then it will go out to bid here very, very soon. On top of that, the bus barn is prepped and ready to go. I've been told he'll be back sometime soon to work on concrete and working on the footer to make sure that that pad is poured soon. And then he'll be back after that cures and start putting up some walls. So that being said, that's all my report for today.
Thanks. Any questions for Joe? Thank you very much. Next,
Just a very few things. Wanted to let you know that we have received our dollars in for funding of the project. All that has been finalized. The money is in the bank. Now we just have to be successful. And I brought for your perusal, if you want to see it, this is the bid document for the track portion only. It's 265 pages of information. So I know Mr. Hurst has been looking through that. I spent a lot of time this weekend with it. And as he said, I think it's moving along very, very well. And the other thing I wanted to just very briefly talk about before it's approved tonight is the 5-year forecast. No surprises in that from what we talked about before. It isn't as favorable as it was. And that is very understandable as far as we've got some loan payments in there now that we didn't have before. We have the negotiated agreement, which was an increase over what was projected when we talked back in November. But quite honestly, there are lots of things that administratively we've been talking about doing that I think is going to bring that into a better stance. And we'll go through that when we probably need a finance meeting as we work through some of these things just to discuss that. But that really, we did finalize our audit after months and months of pain and anguish. And with that, I'm going to conclude my report.
thanks. Do we have any questions for Carla? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is public participation. I have no requests. Next item is the financial reports from the treasurer, which is a recommendation for approval of the consent items 1 through 26, which includes the financial journal, the check register, permanent appropriations, the now and then certifications, donations from multiple donations, the list of donators: Sharon Morris, Sandra Franz, Cindy Engel, Jack Stoller, Fields of Grace, Dennis Stryker. And then item 11 is school donating Bradford items to the community club for the quarter auction. Item 12 is recommending correction to the previous approval of $100 in petty cash for the book fair to $200. And then the next items are donations from Carla Serber, Steve Murphy, Glenn and Mary Murphy, Ruby Ludwig, Backyard Team Apparel, Miami County Foundation, Keller Grain and Feed. Item 23 is approving the new credit limit of $6,300 for the Shell Fleet Plus card. Item 24 is approval of the 5-year forecast just discussed. Item 25 is approving expenditures previously allocated in the general fund to be paid with ESERS money. Item 26 is approving the authority of 004 building, section 5705.09 revised code for the purpose of funds used to account for the receipts and expenditures related to special bond funds in the district. All the proceeds of the sale of the bonds, notes, and certificates, except premiums and accrued interest, will be paid into this fund. Expenditures according to the represent costs of running the capital facilities and real property. And a motion to approve the 26 items before us. Second. Second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call to approve.
Mr. Biestecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
The next item before us is consent items 1 through 21. Recommend to approve resignations for Zachary DeLoma, Melissa McQuinn, retirement of Diane Painter, and retirement of Cheryl Clark. Next, item B is limited non-teaching contract approval. Item C is 2-year limited non-teaching contract approval. Item D is 1-year supplemental contract approval for coaches. And the other additional supplements on the following page. Item E is approving contracted services for Roxanne Stockdale for EMIS. Item F is certified personnel for 1-year contract. Item G is recommending approval under ORC 331910, effective April 8th, a pay increase due to assignment of specific teaching positions in excess of 60 days. Item H is the following teachers approved for elementary summer school teachers, those listed. Item I is approval for the kindergarten jumpstart teachers. Item 2 is doc days for Tabitha Cannon. Item 3 are doc days for Ashla Fry. Item 4, doc days for Mindy Burgett. Item 5, doc days for Dustin Irwin. Item 6 is approval of the all summer employees for the summer work hours listed. Item 7 is a contract with Rumpke. Item 8 is a contract with 7 Mindsets. Item 9 is approving of a contract with Southwestern Ohio Educational Purchasing Council for liability, fleet, and property insurance program at the rate of $39,512. Next, item 10 is a contract for student accidental insurance through Gerber Life for a premium of $2,860. Item 11 is a request for early graduation for Joshua Durston. Item 12 is approving additional courses for the upcoming year of life skills and music appreciation. Item 13 is an agreement between Wright State University and the Bradford Exempting Village School listed in the resolution. Item 14 is approving a contract with Southwest Ohio Purchasing Council for the employee health plan with a renewal date in January 23. It's an 8% increase. Item 15 is approval and agreement between BMH CPA Group Keith Faber, Auditor of State, and the Bradford Exempted Village District listed in the resolution. And item 16 is approval of contract with our county ESC for 3479 for absence management system. Item 17 is approving a contract between Council on Rural Services and our district to provide education instruction for the students assigned to cores and achievement of educational success. Item 18 is approving a contract with Westford LLC for assisting district in maintaining reimbursement for Medicaid eligible expenses. Item 19 is approving a memorandum agreement with New Creations Counseling. Item 20 is approval of a school grant agreement. Item 21 is approval of assets that deemed obsolete but may be further rejected by firms dealing in old electronic equipment. The equipment then can meet this criteria, may be disposed of online. And do we have a motion to accept those items before us?
So moved.
Any discussion, questions regarding all of those for our review?
I have one on number 10, the contract for accidental insurance. How do we advertise that to parents? Does anyone know?
That is on our website.
And do they get anything so they know? I just talked to a couple people about it and no one knows we have it. I know it's kind of hidden, but how do we? I mean, I really like to see people use it if they can. You know, if they get injured or whatever, like playing basketball or baseball, whatever. But I don't know how well it's advertised. Maybe we could pass something out to the athletes in the meetings when they have
Well,
them.
I actually thought, I know how it used to be done, but we paid for it all here, where what I was used to was a voluntary, so it was pushed a little harder. Bob, what's your thoughts about trying to show it more prominently on the website? Whenever anybody is injured, we try to let them know that it's available to them. So I think it's more or less.
I think it's more or less of a situation that we are proactive. We are reactive whenever we find out there's an accident, but we can try to find some way to make it more pronounced for people. We're trying to do more things virtually, so.
Right.
Maybe making it part of the coaching education, so when they have their
When they have their
meetings,
meetings.
so they're
let
the ones
them
who are going
know.
to get injured
Right.
most likely.
Right, most of the time it's athlete, but it could be like a third grader, you know. I just think it needs to advertise a little more before the accident. You know, because a lot of people don't have any idea we have that.
Yeah,
So-
and it is very good. Those policies, I've seen them be quite successful in the past for
Oh, yeah,
people. So,
definitely.
that's a very good suggestion. Work on a way to make that more visible for the public.
Could we put it in final forms and have the staff know it's available to them?
We can check that out. That's a good suggestion because that is something that everyone is going into and looking at.
Be aware of it.
Even if it was just a question and made them aware.
I
No,
understand they have to check yes and get signed it. We could add that to final forms.
yeah, no, I think that's an excellent suggestion. We'll work on it.
That's all I have.
Is there any other discussion or questions?
On number 12, the life skills student, do we have a teacher in mind for that?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's probably on our schedule. I don't know.
I think it's special teachers.
I can see Mrs. Stone.
Bob, was that one of Sharon's classes?
Roll call for approval, please.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes. Next item is item 22, is approval of classified employment for 2-year non-teaching contract for Sally Burr Educational Aid. We have a motion to approve. I will move. Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
She's staying in elementary or high school with? She's staying in elementary.
Okay.
No, it says it. Sorry.
Roll call for approval.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Abstain.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes. Next item is 23, approval of one-year supplemental contract of Alex Swab, Reserve Boys Basketball Coach, Eric Swab, Volunteer Assistant Boys Basketball Coach. A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? And roll call for approval.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Abstain.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes. Next item is consider the second and final reading for the following meal policies that are listed in the agenda. Two sessions. Do we have any questions? Yeah, agree. If not, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thanks. Discussion, no questions? And roll call for approval.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes. The next item is a motion for adjournment. We have a motion.
So moved.
Maria? And Trey, second. Roll call for adjournment.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes. Stand adjourned. Thanks for waiting.
8:03.
Thank you, everyone.